Hi, how are you? This is Dr. Damaris Maria Grossman, and this is the Mindfully Integrative Show. And today we have an amazing guest for a mindful chat. This is Richard Blank, and he is a telemarketer, entrepreneur, a wonderful man and individual that you like to know and see how he can contribute and be part of this integrative health space and give you some of his mindful tips. So thank you so much for being in the show, Richard.
Dr. Grossman, so happy to be here today and as a guest on your show. Cannot
Thank
wait to share
you.
ideas.
Yeah. So my first one is I always ask, what's a little fun fact that people don't know about you?
Oof, I'm an avid collector of classic American pinball machines. So I have a gamification.
Pinball. Oh, is this what I'm seeing somewhat behind this if you're watching in this video?
Yes, in fact, this is a 1961 Rocola Regis. I collect jukeboxes as well. I believe
That
in a
is so cool.
gamification culture. You know, recess was the best class in school, so I had to integrate that in
That
regards to
is
my
so
work environment.
neat.
Mhm.
You know what I recall, I don't know if you have it because you probably do. Do you remember the ones at the diners? I don't know if there's only like one diner in New Jersey that has it like now, but it's the one that goes on the that was on the table and you would put a I think it was when I was a kid, I remember it, but it's an old diner but that has it still. And it's like the desktop one. I don't know if I even know where they are
I'm sure
anymore.
the tabletop Miss Pac-Man machines, you have to play that before getting your.
Yeah. One of those. I was like, oh, I remember it's in one of those diners. In Jersey, we have so many diners. So
But wasn't that fun? And I always
yeah.
believe that play is the best way for people to let off steam, recharge batteries, and make friends. And so to me, it was very important to create a neutral environment here, doctor. So people once again could get to know others from different departments and even spend time with the jefe and
Oh,
just
so you
have a
do
really
that.
good
You
time.
bring that for work. Is this your office? You
Oof,
can call me
you're
Damaris.
speaking with me in Central America at Costa Rica's call center. Yes, I'm here right now at a
Oh, you're in
3,000.
Costa Rica. You're working.
Oh yeah, in the middle of our days, of course. And so since I have the
Oh,
space and I
nice.
like treasure hunting, I decided to load my first floor of the call center into a free play retro arcade room.
That's pretty cool. That makes it kind of light and fun. What kind of telemarketing do you do?
We do inbound and outbound support. I can do lead generation, appointment setting, inbound customer support, or non-voice support. Most of our clients are in the United States, Canada, and some in Central America, but the agents here are bilingual. They're college
Perfect. Beautiful.
educated, and we have a
Love it.
dedicated center here, so they only work for specific clients, and they have amazing skill sets.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I could always use some lead generation in my. So that's great. So let's get into a little nitty gritty of yourself. Obviously, communication is one of your expertise. And in the integrative health space, communicating with others, yourself, and the world, you've had to find ways to do things. What has been your story and what has kind of gotten into not necessarily your business, but what has gotten you to kind of change your perspective?
Of
Because you
course,
came
doctor,
and
thank
said,
you.
talk to me about empathy. You said empathy is the most important before we spoke.
Absolutely. Empathy is being a CEO of a call center. You do have leverage. You could hire, fire, make or break somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Realizing that you should be giving dignity and job stability. This will reduce any sort of fear and stress that people may have that might extend outside of the office into their home lives.
Right.
But going back as far as Northeast Philadelphia, when I graduated high school, my favorite class was Spanish. And I majored in that at the University of Arizona. I was a Spanish communication major. By learning a second language bears the mark of higher education. It could also open many doors and even do an incredible first impression for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So that was enabling me to integrate very well into Costa Rica, where I've been here for the last 22 years.
Oh, you've been living in Costa Rica. Oh, I thought you were from. Okay, wow. So
Oh
and you
no,
built your
I'm a
business.
Philly boy. I'm a
Ah,
European background,
okay.
and
Yeah.
I guess I took the long shot.
Yes.
Unlike
Yes.
yourself that went to medical school, and I know people that go to law school, I didn't have the
No,
grades.
I went to nurse practitioner and a doctorate in nursing, but yeah.
But you're still much smarter than most of us.
Oh,
And so
it's
what
all
I
good.
had to do was
It's just more school. That doesn't mean I'm smart. That's what I learned.
well, you look smart, but the important thing is that I was true to myself. I
Yeah,
realized
that's
that
that's
there
so
were
important.
certain things that I wanted to follow in my life and having my own spiritual vision quest of a destiny that I had. And I knew that languages was going to give me opportunities. And when I was 27, doctor, I had the opportunity of a 1 in a million chance to move to Costa Rica at 27 and work at my friend's call center. And I took it. And if you
Mhm.
can get past your parents' guilt, you can live anywhere in the world. But Dr. Grossman, I saw such positive reinforcement. I really loved this culture here that I decided to stay.
People
And
do tell me
naturally
they love
learning the
it.
business, I started something, and I guess I'm feeding families. And what I'm doing is I'm giving back to a society that has given me so many gifts.
Oh, that's
And that
beautiful.
makes
Do you have
circles
family now
complete.
in
Uh,
Costa Rica?
I have a wife. I don't have any children, but I
Oh, no
have tons
children.
of animals and a nice support group.
Oh, good, good. Well, all your friends, family, and workers.
But it's beautiful here.
Yeah.
And you can really lose yourself spiritually when you go out into ecotourism. So you can decompress, you can put your phone away, and while sitting next to a waterfall or listening to birds and seeing butterflies, and you let your mind wander and you get some image streaming and you can prioritize. And so a lot of my stuff is about me time. I don't
Mhm.
have the discipline for Eastern meditation, but I am capable of allowing myself to regroup and to find my focus and
And
balance.
that's fine. As I talk about mindfulness on a general note to individuals, if that walking in nature is for you, looking at butterflies, looking at the waterfall, whatever that is mindfulness. So some
Yes,
people it's
ma'am.
coloring, some people it is running, some people it's what have you.
Mhm.
Sitting on a rock is not full on mindfulness. That's, that was kind of like the myth that some individuals believe, but that where for you is wherever you need to be so that you can kind of clear or reset wherever your work is, right?
Especially in my work, because in this industry and nursing too, because a lot of
Yeah,
people
nursing for sure.
take the energy from the patients that they love with them.
Yeah.
I myself, I realize that this is a very delicate stage of these individuals' lives and career. And if I can encourage them, if I can support them and give them resources, then you and I are winning because we're building future leaders. We're maybe breaking some stereotypes. You were mentioning empathy. It's the most important that we both have. I think that's the fuel to our fire. In your industry, they talk about bedside manner,
Right.
which is so important. And even today, Dr. Grossman, it's a lot of it is non-voice support. You'll be doing things through chat and emails, while I prefer to build rapport and speak with our clients so we can not upsell them, but it's more about retention, maybe getting a referral
Trust.
and potentially getting some sort of feedback on areas of improvement or what other people have done in order to earn their business. So a lot of it is not guessing, being very realistic. And if you're capable of being humble enough to make these sort of self-adjustments, then what happens is you're only going to be able to integrate once again yourself into a changing society and give yourself least resistance. It's a much more easier way to live your life. So there's no surprises, doctor.
How, as you can call me Damaris, you don't have to call me doctor, no worries. So in reference to for yourself, was there something kind of a surpass? Like you moved to Costa Rica, right? You
Yes,
wanted to make this business and change lives.
correct.
Was there something in your trajectory or time that like in your health, in your spiritualness that like really wanted to make sure that you had an impactful business, but also impacting you? Was there something that happened, or was it just something that you felt within you that you needed to go and do this business, be the best that you could for your colleagues and your what was it? Was there a turning point for you?
Of course there was. And once again, there's no blueprint for call centers and no one
No,
decided
no,
to
of
do
course not.
this. So I kind of fell into it. But prior to that, we're all given predisposition opinions.
Hmm.
In a lot of our careers, there are some expectations.
Of course, yeah.
And so I was trying to look at it in a very mature way when I graduated high school at 18. Do I have the mental capacity, maturity, and discipline to handle these sort of responsibilities? Or should I follow something that I think could make me marketable, versatile? And I guess my strongest argument against the naysayers and great believers who love me so, but maybe are just not understanding my mission, was that my great grandparents, when they came over from Europe at the turn of the 20th century, they learned English, they were entrepreneurs, they started their lives. So why couldn't I? I mean, in our families, we have nomads. We've learned multiple languages in our past. So why
Hmm.
not now? And maybe growing up as a little boy, I always wanted the adventure of leaving a castle, slaying a dragon, and saving a princess. And I knew that I had this opportunity, and I could always click my heels and came home. But there was a certain sort of momentum that I was on, a trajectory, as you were mentioning. And as long as I was receiving positive feedback, and is it selfish? Maybe a little egocentric, I guess. I didn't follow in certain footsteps. But once again, you and I are creating our own destinies, our own stories. And at the end of the day, when we put our heads on our pillow, we look at ourselves in the mirror, those are the true lucid, clear moments of when you could raise your head up high and be proud of oneself. And the greatest thing that you could ever do is, once again, being exceptionally true to yourself.
What do you feel were characteristics that got you to where you're at now?
My friend and support groups and the agents that I
Connection.
sat with and worked with prior to owning a company. When I was at my friend's center, I was there for 4 years, not at C-level, I was with the people. And I
Mhm.
got to hear the good and the bad and the happy and the sad. And it allowed me to find areas in which to enhance the experience for those that are working with me.
Mhm.
But then again, my real true friends that loved me for who I am and realized that I was unique in a certain way just because I was just a dreamer. And I
Mm.
wanted to see how far I could stretch my life and how high I could fly. And a lot of the times it was doing this alone, because dreamers sometimes have to dream alone. And geniuses are the only ones that might think of the answer. When it comes out, then once again, everyone understands it. But you may have to stand up for yourself from time to time. One of the
No,
greatest things I could do is to have that sort of backbone.
that's great. How let's chat about your now time. You're saying empathy, which is obviously so important. But
Yeah.
what other things or emotional feelings with you're saying joy, fun, what have you brought in your I'm going to say employees that has been part of your life? I'm not sure of how to phrase that, but
It's a wonderful question, Maris. It's my personal health. I
Mhm.
need to be the apex. I need to be the leader. Besides
Mhm.
getting on the phone, I need to show health.
Right.
So I have a very strict discipline. At 5:30 in the morning, I go to my home gym and I work out for 2 hours.
You do the work.
Yes, ma'am. And I try to have the
I
most
mean, you don't
healthy.
have to go to the gym 5:30 in the morning, but you do something. You do
Oh,
something.
no, I do, because I have a
Mhm.
home gym. So it's very
Oh, okay.
convenient for
Oh,
me. And
nice.
I've been doing that since high school. So it's part of my routine anyway. I was an
Oh,
athlete
great.
as well. But I like to be very active. And also it's a stress reliever. And you
Oh,
get the
yes.
endorphins, you feel
Very
good,
much.
your back's strong, your head is clear. And so I do need that. And in addition to that, eating very well in the morning. I believe in natural juicing. I believe in having a strong breakfast and
You're
lunch.
in Costa Rica. You probably have access to even better things than I do.
If you came with me on the weekends to the farm
Oh my
market,
God. I've
you
heard
would
that you
be
guys have such
amazed.
amazing, like there's a couple
Oh,
of really amazing, like you said, eco retreats out here, out by you that
what
I've
about
heard
the exotic
wonderful.
fruit you've never tried before? And if you like the greens, I mean, it's so fresh and
You're
it's
probably eating so much better than the American diet. That,
for a
that
fraction
in
of the
itself.
cost.
What?
Yes, I am.
I know you are. I know for a fact that you have to be because on my just general conversation about functional nutrition to individuals, you at least live and can probably grow in your backyard or at least get from your local stand. You know it's coming from directly from a tree instead of,
100% correct.
I mean, comparative to what it is now, whether in the supermarkets, we don't know where it's always coming from, or the packaged stuff is just endless.
See the difference in my skin, in my
Yeah, you
stomach,
look absolutely
sleep
young as can be.
patterns? Yes, you can really see the difference, and it makes you more lucid, makes you more clear.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, the research shows it, in the integrative health space. It's not even integrative health, in general health, food is part of the medicine, and we just don't even we don't talk about it enough.
So we're
But and
talking
then
about
the
mental,
I'm sorry.
physical. We're
Yeah.
talking about mental and then physical, and then a lot of it is physiological, because I don't want to seem laggard. I don't want to seem like I'm shot out. Once
Hmm.
again, these individuals are looking at me for stability and security.
Hmm.
So besides dressing the part, you sit up straight and chest out and shoulders back and chin up. And Another thing that I love, and I forgot to mention, is I enjoy washing my convertible on Sunday. So I do try to drive to the office in the morning with the top down, listening to In Excess music, having a good time. So I kind of get myself in a very cool mindset before showing up. I may be almost 50 years old, but I still think like a teenager.
That's
I
great. No,
understand
I mean
work like
your mindset, your mission for your company, the mission for yourself is a direct correlation to how you are, and how people are, because the truth comes out in some manner, the authentic self and how we are will the patterns, if we haven't changed the old patterns, they will come out. But if you've changed them and you're an example of where people would like to be, or for yourself, you're doing it for yourself, right? And then you're doing it for your people and for just in general, just to feel good, right?
they see the consistency. It's not like I'm happy just on payday or my birthday. Oh no, I'm like this every day.
Yeah.
And they see that and they feed off of it. And I believe synergy is essential because I'm in an environment where people are talking and it's very social. So you
Synergy,
need
explain that to me. I'm not sure if I've really heard
all
that.
parts working together for the common
Okay.
the
Okay.
whole. I love circles. That's why Knights of the Round Table. You don't need to put me in the front and everyone behind me. Absolutely not, because it works both ways. If nobody shows up, I don't have a company. And so I have to ensure once again that I am fulfilling certain needs so these agents can go home and tell their mothers what they do for a living. I'm in a very strict Catholic country. It's very conservative. And
Mhm.
so besides trying to fulfill needs of clients, I have to ensure that the agent's ethics, values, or morals are still intact, because you and I have seen the movies, The Wolf of Wall Street and Boiler Room and Glengarry, and they give an imagery of what a call center looks like in a telemarketer.
Mhm.
Maybe you and I can break some of these stereotypes besides empathy, being exceptionally selective of the campaigns that come in and showing this sort of cultivating environment to take care of the people that work with you, not for me. And these are the sort of
That's important because not everybody has the empathy or the caringness for their staff, because and then that is a direct correlation to how they feel inside. So if you're not taking care of them, you're probably not taking care of you or other, like, and it's really like obvious for some to see. And that is, I mean, that's important. That's a great mission and necessary.
people seem surprised when I mention it, but to me, it's normal. And it's the way that maybe you and I were raised by our
I think
grandparents and
it could
parents
be,
to be
yeah, could be.
respectful.
Yeah, we were raised differently, or just a different way of just mannerisms. Yeah.
I couldn't agree with you. And it's very simple. There's no cracked code. You
Mhm.
just, once again, have to show that sort of appreciation and acknowledgement, and it comes back. Mhm.
Before we go for the day, I'd love for you to add in one more, I say mindful tip, mindful way that you'd like to share with the audience, those listening and watching.
I believe in dedicated practice because you and I
I
make
very
things
much
look
so
so
believe in
easy.
dedicated practice.
Exactly. When the cameras are off and no one's around, if you're doing your push-ups and you're writing your scripts and you're eating well and resting, that will prepare you for the following day. So you're not rushing. And if you can regroup, find your center, find your balance, believe in the Wu Wei philosophy of least resistance, then I think, my friend, you'll just be a floating feather and everything will be just fine.
I believe you are right, sir. The less life of less resistance, really, your path opens. The doors may close sometimes, but when those doors or windows open, that things flow. The disease is not disease. And when the water is flowing, there's no disease. Things are flowing and things are moving because there's no resistance. But when you resist, there's so many things that come in the way and block. So could
And
not agree
trust your
more.
intuition, because it's something saying to yourself. And as I mentioned before, instead of just being a rebel and trying to disrupt things, you might need to make your point every now and again, because the people that love you should appreciate the sort of passion that you have and these sort of visions that you have, because it's not fair to live someone else's life. You have the luxury of living your own life. And I think that's the most important thing.
I hope that people can pause and kind of reset there and let individuals find time to live their life, not worry and try to live others.
It's easier said than done. It's more
I
of a
know, but
forced
it's a
march.
work in progress for
Mhm.
individuals. And someone here is listening to this and saying, I got to work on this. And like I tell them a mindful way every day because it's like one step at a time. You cannot get to this or that without, you couldn't have gotten a CEO to where you are. Couldn't have gotten a doctorate just by hanging out, or whatever it is, whatever the goal. It could be a small, just cleaning a room. You can't do one
Exactly.
thing without one step. So
I was
that's
just going
very
to
important.
mention making your bed. I think that's
Make
one of the best first steps
exactly,
to do. Mhm.
exactly, exactly.
A
So
good point.
thank
You
you
and I are
so
so on the same page.
absolutely. I really appreciate you being on the show and thank you for taking your time.
Had the best time, Damaris. Thank you so much for having me as your
And
guest.
I want to make sure that people can reach out to you. So how can they reach you directly?
Well, they can buy a first class plane ticket and come visit me in Central America.
Okay, I
That's
can
number
be
one. But you can
and
call me at
okay.
888-271-6750 or send an email at CEO Costa Rica's call center.com.
CEO
But here's the
Costa Rica.
best part. We have a
Okay.
very large Facebook fan page of about 98,000 local Costa Rican Ticos, and they cannot wait to meet you. And it will give your audience a pulse on what Central America, Costa Rica is like. We're the only democratic society, no standing army, 95% literacy rate.
Love
And
it.
it's a beautiful place to come visit.
I will be visiting. So thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. And thanks for those listening. You guys have a wonderful day and make sure you each have mindful way each and every day. Thanks.